Welcome back, everybody. You're watching the Handyman Business YouTube channel. This channel is about making lots of money fixing people's houses. We call it the home services industry. Back in the old days, it was called just being a handyman. That's kind of turned into a derogatory term these days. Today's video is about how to start a handyman business in 2025 with actionable steps to start making money. Most likely, if you're watching this video, you just started a handyman business or you are thinking about it. Maybe you're doing it part-time and you want to know, what do I got to do to make this a full-time gig? Step one is to define your niche. What are you an expert at? For this example, you are an expert at wall repairs and matching plaster textures, drywall textures, and you're also pretty good with a paintbrush and roller to paint your repairs. The reason we need a niche to get started is we've got to get into customers' houses. You want your customers to refer you as the go-to expert for wall repairs. Everybody's got wall repairs, especially if they're drywall. You got kids, you got teenagers, they're throwing things, they're throwing each other through the walls. Everybody needs wall repairs. So right now, there are more homeowners who need your services than ever before. Never has there been more homeowners who do not know how to operate a screwdriver in the history of mankind. They used to be concentrated in large cities. Well, they have dispersed. Since we had the pandemic, they've all dispersed. A lot of them left the big cities. Some live in ski towns now. Some moved back to the small town that they grew up in, but they still can't operate a screwdriver. That's where you come in. That's where this demand is. I don't think there's ever been a higher demand for home services. So step one was establishing your niche. What are you an expert at? That is just for the initial startup of your business, to get you in people's homes and to get a reputation started. Later on, as you're confident and your expertise grows, you can start branching off into different areas. You could specialize in rotten wood repairs. I know in the Southeast, everything rots. Door jambs rot, windows rot, decks rot, everything's rotten. And there's guys out there making a living on just repairing rotten wood. So step one was you got just this expertise, and now we need to get to work. And you've got to tell everybody you know. You got to tell your friends. You got to tell your current coworkers. Hopefully you haven't quit your job yet. You got to tell your wife, tell everybody she knows. Maybe you got a girlfriend, you can tell her. Probably don't tell her, that'd get you in trouble. But tell everybody you know what you're doing, and it will spread like wildfire. Those of us who've been in business for 5-10 years, we have backed off on that quite a bit. We now tell people, don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody you know a guy that can fix things, because we are in such high demand, we just can't take on any more work. Some of us have discussed in the comments that we invent fake careers so that when we are at a social gathering, we don't get any more work, or we don't have to awkwardly turn down our new acquaintance.
Oh, you do that? Oh, you can fix this? You can fix that? Oh, you got to come to my house. Oh, my mother needs all this work done. Or my sister, oh, she needs somebody to come over because she doesn't have a man.
I also want you to have an online presence. I want you to have at least an Instagram account, then a Facebook account, and then I want you to make one of them simple one-page AI-generated websites. If you got the trifecta, you are now a professional. You are hired. No questions. You're hired. You got all three, the deal's done. We don't need anybody else. This guy's got the trifecta. This next one I've gotten some pushback on over the years, but I like realtors. I know a ton of realtors. Everybody knows a realtor. Or you know someone's wife that is a realtor. There are too many realtors out there in the world these days. There's one in every street corner. But they all belong to an agency. And they're always asking you,
hey, you want me to sell your house? You want me to sell your house? You want me to sell your house? You got anybody needs a house sold, you give me a call.
You do the same to them. Go back to your agency. Tell them you got the go-to guy for wall repairs. Every house that's going on the market needs wall repairs. Those realtors are also going to refer you to the home buyer for other home repairs and upgrades. Do a good job for those new home buyers, and you got a customer for life. I've got a jobber announcement for you. I know you love these. Once you get into your business, you're gonna have to manage all this money, manage all these customer interactions. You're gonna have a lot of people to keep track of. I recommend Jobber. I got a link in the description. It'll give you 20% off. It'll also get you into the Jobber Summit. For 2025, they've got some interesting speakers. I want you to click the link, go check out who's speaking at the Jobber Summit. Come back, leave a comment, and you'll know what I'm talking about. I'll be tuning in virtually. That's on March 5th. Okay, step 3 is how do we price our work? There's experts who price by the job. And then there are lowly handyman who charge by the hour. All fun and games aside, I highly recommend you are an expert at something and you know how long it's going to take. You know what materials it's going to take. You know how to do some math. There are some basic estimating methods, quantity takeoffs. You can draw a picture of what you got to build and you start counting. Boards, screws, paintbrush, paint roller, gallon of paint, drop claws. Add all that up and you get your material costs. You got to do quantity takeoffs to come up with your material costs. And then times it by 4. And if you are just getting started out and you don't have a huge network of customers yet, times it by 3 and you should be good. Here's a pro tip. You want to slightly overestimate than underestimate what it's going to cost to complete a project. You never ever want to go to a customer and ask for more money. Keep in mind, this is basic home repairs and home remodels. We're not working on a wastewater treatment plant. This is real basic stuff. A couple generations ago, everybody was their own handyman. Only the extreme rich and wealthy hired people to do work on their own house. Everybody knew how to do it. Everybody knew how to operate a screwdriver. People that have to go and ask for more money are not experts. That's not confidence inspiring to the customer. They might be less likely to refer you to their friends and families and neighbors. I think we're on step 4. This is the least important one, but for some reason, these young guys freak out about it. And that is the legalities of being a handyman. Most handyman that are out there working today, tomorrow, are not licensed. They have no insurance and they don't pay their taxes. But I'm going to focus on the part that can come back to bite you. And that is not paying taxes. Because once you become a multimillionaire, you've got to explain how the heck you got all this money. Best way to do this is get some money coming in the door. Once it's a viable source of an income, start an LLC with your Secretary of State. You can do this one by yourself. Go on your Secretary of State's website and you'll be done in 10, 15 minutes. Once you start making $75,000, $80,000 a year, that's the stuff that you would be paying taxes on. Then it would be beneficial, depending on your state, to become an S corporation. So then you can move on to making $100,000, $150,000, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year, self-employed as a handyman. You just got to pay those taxes and invest the leftovers. And then the next thing you know, you're 50 years old and you're a multimillionaire. I may have made that sound simple, and it is very simple. The steps are there. You got to do them. The hard part is forcing yourself to do the manual labor for decades. That becomes the hard part. You no longer need to advertise. The word of mouth has gone crazy and viral. You're paying your taxes. The money is piling up in your investment accounts, especially if you had a decent amount in there last year. You got made like 25%. The hard part is to not take your foot off the gas when you get on top. We've had crazy inflation. Those of you who are multimillionaires know that we're basically just middle class, being worth $2 or $3 million these days. You still got to keep your foot on the gas and keep on going, chasing that 5 million, chasing that 7 million. Then you can start to relax a little bit. So there you go. Step by step on how to start a handyman business and become a multi-millionaire. In the next video, we're going to talk about tools and specific home repair tasks and the pricing on those that bring in the most amount of money. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you could, hit that like button. Maybe ring the bell so you know when that next video is coming out. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.